See, I feel so kind of almost pretentious talking about myself, because it's okay talking personally, but then, you know, things like this, I feel as if I'm showing off almost. My name's Andy Campbell, and I was a soldier for 14 years. I joined the army at 16, straight after school pretty much, and it was my career up until a few years ago where I had an accident and I ended up being medically discharged from the military, and wasn't too sure what I was going to do with my life. I'd always been set on this career and this track to be in the military and to be a career soldier. So I kind of had to reinvent my life a little bit. And I wasn't too sure what to do, but I knew that I liked and enjoyed the outdoors and the adventure and the travel of being in the military. So I kind of set off on quite a selfish kind of journey, personal journey, to just kind of explore the world and see a little bit more of the world without the restrictions of military life, so to speak. So I could go to slightly more friendly places, and I didn't have the obstruction of being in the military and being there on official duties to kind of make interactions and where I wanted to go as difficult as they were before. So I set off, and I've been doing that for the last 8 years. I've just been kind of going off and exploring places and seeing where I can go and what I can do. So 9 years ago, I was paralysed in a climbing accident. I was climbing on a weekend off from the military, and as I abseiled from the top of a climb, my rope gave way and I kind of fell down and smashed various bits and pieces of my body, the most important probably being my spinal cord, which was broke and severed and left me unable to walk. So I'm now seeing the world in a wheelchair, which isn't the most immediately fulfilling view of the world you may expect. So my life had always been adventurous. You know, the military is an adventurous kind of lifestyle, and it's something that kind of was exciting. You know, the change of pace every day, something different, something unique, far-flung places, interesting places. And after my accident, I was a new person almost. You know, I had to kind of completely reinvent myself, and I didn't know how to do that. The only thing that I could find in common between my previous life as a soldier and, you know, this newfound, almost unwanted life was that kind of need for adventure. Not adrenaline, just adventure, just being able to go out and, you know, kind of see the world, get a little bit dirty, get a little bit kind of beaten up, but get out and see the world and go places. And that was much more difficult because I was now disabled. You know, I couldn't go to the places that I routinely went to, that I, you know, almost certainly took for granted before, were now all of a sudden out of bounds for me, and that was extremely difficult for me to take. And being stubborn, I refused to take it. So I knew that I had to invent new ways to go there and new ways to see these places that I wanted to go and explore. So I looked at new ways, and instead of being able to walk or to run somewhere, you know, I decided, well, I can go down a river and I can kayak, or I can get this off-road hand cycle and I can kind of drag myself up. I can rock climb. I can haul myself up ropes to get to places. Anywhere to have a different viewpoint than a safe, boring sidewalk or a nice road that's been paved for you and takes you in one direction, which is nice, but it may not be where you want to go. And along the way, that was all great. I got to see places, but it still wasn't quite enough. I still didn't feel as if I was having the adventure and really having the freedom to go where I wanted. And I ended up learning to paraglide, which is essentially jumping off a mountain. Not quite base jumping, because it's a wing and everything's laid out for me beforehand, or I lay it out. But launching off a mountain and being able to fly like a bird, in that I can soar in thermals and I can go wherever I want. I have the freedom of movement, which for somebody who's normally, you know, confined to a wheelchair and restricted in almost every kind of movement, the freedom of being able to go up and down, left and right, you know, not just in small scale, but over mountains and through valleys and all this kind of stuff was just absolutely amazing. I'd never experienced a disability. I'd never known anybody with a disability, and I didn't know the limitations or the expectations. And initially, the frustration at not being able to do what I wanted was blinding me from what was actually available to me. So I wasn't able to go and hike up a mountain and get these glorious landscape photographs, but I can fly around and get those photographs, which the vast majority of people aren't going to do. But also, I have this amazing viewfinder that shows me a completely different way that people are. When you put a camera up in front of people, they'll immediately stiffen up and try to put on the act for a camera, for a photographer. But I found a way that allows them to be more honest. They're more open. People don't feel a need to put on an act with me, and it's much easier to break down kind of barriers and be a little bit more open with people. And it's great fun as well. It's quite easy to show the differences in people's opinions and people's appreciation or kind of expectations of you. After the accident, they all started obviously paying a little bit more attention, realising that, I did die basically. I got resuscitated 3 times, I think. Because my family never knew anything about this. They never knew that, I was in the army, so I had no idea what I was really up to. It's allowed me to build the skills, and the experience certainly helped me get where I am today. It's been full of failures, it's been full of disappointments, but each kind of failure has just showed me, one more way I can't achieve something, but opened up 10 more ways to be able to achieve what I needed to achieve. So it's been interesting, it's been fun. So I've never thought about, I won't be happy until I've made £1 million. I won't be happy until I've done this. I won't be happy until, I've got the house, the car, all this kind of stuff. I've just gone on this internal dialogue of whether I am doing the best I can, whether I'm fulfilling my own potential. And, that's quite a difficult thing to verbalise and quantify, but it's a personal kind of journey. It's something that, I want to be able to, at the end, when I'm finished, when I'm kind of, when I'm spent my last, I guess I want to be able to just be happy with what I've done and know that I did my best. And for me, that isn't necessarily a monetary value. A lot of what I do isn't for any monetary gain whatsoever. It's just for an enjoyment of the world, and knowing that I did what I did and all I could do to be happy and to use what I have. So this is my paramotor, basically. It's a motor, a little 2-stroke motor with a propeller on the back, and a trike fitted with nice nice large wheels, so I can take off from fields and come down and land in kind of not perfect terrain. It's quite simple. It's a very simple thing. A motor, and this is the wing. This is paragliding wing, kind of rolled and folded up. And when we go out to the field, I'll lay it out. It's 33 square metres, and it's an aerodynamic wing that's inflated. As the air comes into it, it inflates, creates a wing that creates lift and allows me to go along and fly. Really lightweight, very simple, really easy to go up and go flying. I just have this little helmet camera fitted to the front here, and it's this homemade anti-vibration mount that I've made for it, because you get quite a lot of vibration coming through the frame from the engine. So I've just mounted this up in a little kind of solution I've made out of some drain pipe and elastic bands to cut down on some of the engine vibration and get some of that forward-looking footage as I'm flying. there's nothing enjoyable about it at all. You know, it's you know, struggling to find a purpose, struggling to find routines, struggling to find a reason or you know, or anything, you know. And I'm doing these things that I enjoy, but you know, it's still, it's not. They give me enjoyment. I'm not sure if they give me fulfillment. It's like having everything you've ever liked or enjoyed. All of a sudden, you don't like and enjoy it anymore. It's kind of like that. It's like every food you've ever tasted, you don't enjoy anymore. You know, you just got no appetite, basically, no appetite whatsoever, and it's just, you know, I feel, you know, part of, you know, problem with me at the moment is that, you know, I feel almost fraudulent in that I'm giving the, you know, people see the positives, you know, everybody sees this amazing, you know, Andy did this, you know, and they see all these positives. They don't see, you know, they don't see me laying awake for 18 hours in pain, not being able to get anything done. You know, they don't see that. They don't see me getting dragged over and, you know, not being able to fly, you know, the other day. They don't see me, you know, frustrated at, you know, not being able to fly for 4 days, you know, trying to launch 3 times and, you know, it taking 4 hours. You know, they see, you know, take off, flying, oh, that's great. You know, they don't see all these problems. And that's, I understand that people don't want to see those problems, but I also, you know, feel guilty in that I feel fraudulent in the way that, you know, I am fraudulently, you know, almost, you know, being like, yay, look, I love life, I'm doing all that, you know, we're actually, you know, sometimes I feel fucking pissed off and upset sometimes, you know, and, you know, I think it's, it's almost, you know, especially for other disabled people, like as I was saying, you know, about the cost of equipment and things like this, you know, I think it's almost, it's great to, you know, to know you're inspiring people, but I think there's another side to that where you can actually, you know, make people feel bad about themselves, that they aren't living up to this kind of almost ideal, like, oh wow, you know, he can go and do this, he does this and this, you know, I should be doing better, I should be doing all this kind of stuff, you know. Because they're only seeing the good parts, they're only seeing, you know, the kind of highlight reel type stuff, you know. So I feel, you know, I struggle with that quite a lot, about, you know, showing this. I mean, I have constant pain, you know, from about here down, it's just constant pain. It's like pins and needles, scalding water, Chinese burn type thing, the whole thing, both legs. But then, you know, I get different types of pain. I get, it's in just in this leg, and it's like I've been hit by when you stub your toe. You're like, oh, that's okay, that's not much, and it goes, oh, and it's like that. So I feel it. I'm like, oh, and it kind of, and it's like, oh, and there'll be just a couple of seconds. I'm like, oh, and then it'll kind of fade away again. But like I had last night, is when it gets bad. It's this. It's like I'm getting stabbed with an electric shock knife or something like that. And it's just, oh, and it's so intense and so instantaneous, and it is. I mean, it's literally, you know, half a second of pain. It's literally just like that, but it just makes fucking. I mean, you can't jump, but kind of like almost jump out of the way. You know, and I'll get those stabs as well. You know, they're not unusual. I'll get those stabs. I might get those stabs, you know, a couple of times a day or something like that, or I may only get them, you know, once or twice a week. But they're not unusual at all. But then, you know, when it gets bad, it will be, you know, I don't know, it seems like it's every kind of 30 seconds or so, but maybe it's only every couple of minutes. But it's so intense. And the thing is with the pain as well, through the night, you know, when you get that kind of pain, you're awake straight away, you know, and not just awake, but you've got this fucking adrenaline going through you because you've got this, you know, reactions to the pain and everything. So even then, without the pain, it's difficult to go back to sleep. But then, you know, as you do, then the pain comes back again, and it's just this constant kind of almost drifting off and waking up, and then, you know, and you just can't do anything. And then, as you get more tired, the pain actually gets worse as well. So it's just this kind of vicious cycle. Because the more tired you get, the more pain you get, and the more pain you get, the less you just can't sleep. And so it gets quite bad. I never take anything. And the other night, was it last night, night before? I thought, fuck it. I took some sleeping pills. I just hadn't slept. It's the spinal cord, the spinal cord, it's not completely set, it's just a mass of wires, and I've broken it. But, it's like maybe one or two connected, or maybe they got mashed up and that one's connecting to that one type thing. So all this, it's all electrical stimulus, so the brain is always sending signals out, just like radar, and they're coming back saying it's okay. And, we're just like you lose the taste of chewing gum or whatever, you lose sense of these signals unless something's wrong. And the brain's just getting this wrong all the time. It's just getting these signals back up saying something's wrong. So it's just saying, something wrong. And the way the brain tells you something wrong is pain. So it's just got this pain all the time. And the pain that's there all the time, everyone's like, and it sounds terrible, but it's actually, fine. It's not a problem because it's there all, just like chewing gum. Because it's there all the time, you don't feel it. It's that kind of, those stabs and those, what they call breakthrough pain. It's like breaking through the barrier or whatever. But that breakthrough pain is the stuff that, and those little ones, when I'm here, I'm just kind of cringe a little bit. They're annoying, but they don't have a massive impact on my life. It's 5 or 10 seconds of pain. It doesn't actually stop me doing anything. The military ethos, the whole, characteristics is to get the job done. It's very mission orientated. It's very, this needs to be done and I need to do it. It's a very simplistic view. It's a very kind of almost optimistic, pessimistic view, in that you imagine everything is going to go wrong so that you're ready for it. And I think that, that helped me a lot after I was injured, in that, it was a tough blow to take, but I always knew it was going to get worse, or I always told myself it was going to get worse, and to get ready for that. It never really did get worse, because I was always preparing for the kind of downfall or anything, and so I was always able to kind of get through it and see it as a kind of a challenge, really. Yeah, kind of challenge. What I want is incredibly simple, and it make me feel completely fulfilled. And it's the only way, certainly I think I can get fulfillment. It's probably the only way. So I need it. I need to do these things. I have no choice. I can't, like fine, all the problems, trying to fly, trying to launch, crashing, not taking off, get all these problems that are barriers to stop me. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it, and it drives me crazy. But I know that I have to go back out the next day and try it, because without it, I'm not going to get up. I'm not going to feel that kind of whatever it is inside me that excites me and satisfies me and kind of motivates me all at the same time. That kind of awe feeling. I need it. It's what I have to do these things. That you think, right, it's not fucking worth it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to go through all this to get that. But I need that. I can't live without that. So, what do I do? Do I live with the pain of not having that, or do I live with the pain of all this shit that goes with it? And it's whatever I do, it's going to be painful. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be annoying. And it's just. It's just fucking annoying, basically. But essentially, I just want, I don't want to be that, Andy Campbell, having to show myself online all the time and all this kind of. I just want to be me and just go and do what I want to do, kind of thing. So I'm just going to do that and just kind of keep it simple and just try and enjoy myself through the summer. And just see where I can go, see what I can do from there. The drugs they give you obviously can only work on your brain, because that's where the pain is. And it will stop the background, this normal pain, as long as you keep taking the pills. You stop taking the pills, then the pain comes back. And because you haven't felt it for a while, then it comes back so much more intense. But I mean, you have to take like a pill every 6 hours or something like that, literally every 6 hours. So you probably have to, break sleep to take one of the pills, to keep on that schedule. And I mean, if you miss that schedule, then the pain will come back. And because you've been without the pain, then it comes back even more, So you can just, miss the pill by an hour, and you just, and your legs will be really, really bad. But even that stuff does nothing for, the bouts of kind of the more severe pain. So in general, there's actually no point taking them, because they actually, have less of a benefit than just nothing. Because you take them and, you have to, you're drugged up, and you just kind of blurred vision, and, like when you're cold and you can't move your lips fast enough, it's kind of like that. It's not nice. Permanently dry mouth. So I just don't bother taking them at all. I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. I think all you can hope for is to kind of to do your best, and if you can make things a little bit better for other people along the way, I think that's what everybody should kind of aim for. I don't know who said that. If you leave the world better than when you entered it, you're doing okay. I'm naturally kind of almost dismissive of those, just impulsively dismissive, just because I'm just so deeply ingrained in being military and kind of like, oh, you've got to be working. What's the therapy after I was injured? I was in hospital. They had this therapy room in the hospital. It was a specialised, dedicated spinal unit, and they had a room, and it was like the therapy room. It was all kind of, the nurse had gone in there, they'd painted it, and they were painting rainbows on the walls, and they had these light and big massive kind of bean bags like this, and kind of fibre optic lights and lava lamps, and kind of chilled out music playing. All this kind of stuff. If I ever go in there, just fucking shoot. When my friends come, I was like, if I ever go in there, just fucking shoot me. They're like, do you want to go? And I was like, no, fuck off, I'm going down the gym, kind of thing. And eventually, they got me in there, and I was like, just totally zoned out, as if I'd stoned out my mind, just totally relaxed. I was like, oh, okay, it's not too bad really. But I still got that impulse of being like, fuck you, fuck off, kind of thing. And I've done pretty much everything, that somebody in a wheelchair can do. To the point that, there's very few people that, that can inspire me, that are in wheelchairs, and you'd be like, oh, don't worry, you're in a wheelchair, but look, I'll show you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. I've done all that shit, I've done, much more. So it's difficult for me to, for anybody to be like, oh, you can do, don't worry, you can do great things and all this kind of stuff. And because I went so, not crazy, but I went so full on, in the first, the last 8 years, just non-stop. That, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what my goals are anymore. I don't know what to do. It's more like, I don't know what to do, so I just don't know what to do.